We got to start with Forsberg's four. What do you got for us this week?
So here's the thing. I wanted to find the four most, I would say, best numbers from the streak. But for this streak, I'm bumping it out a little bit. I'm going all the way back to January 23rd when Marcus Smart came back from COVID, because that's really when things took off. And my first number, it's 65.7. That is Boston's assist percentage with Derrick White on the floor. And that's 2.3% higher than Boston's assist percentage in that stretch, which has been really good. Here's the crazier part. It's 65.7 would rank third in the NBA if maintained. And here's the thing I love best. 10 of White's 15 assists since he's been in here in Boston have gone to the Jays. Now, that was a nice feed to Al Horford there. But the way he is maximizing it, he pairs really well with Jalen and Jayson. He's able to find them on the move. I think 5 of those 10 buckets have come at the rim, like Jayson Tatum's loud dunk right there. And that's great. That's what you want, a ball mover, someone who can facilitate. And this is why Brad Stevens thought Derrick White would pair particularly well with that core.
Yeah, and Derrick White seems like a perfect fit for this roster. Already knowing Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum, Ime Udoka, and Marcus Smart. I mean, basically, he knows this entire roster, at least the core of this roster. So everything looks like it's working out fine for Derrick White here in Boston. All right, what's coming up next at 4?
All right, the second number is 36.3, and that's what opponents are shooting against my guy, Rob Williams, over the last 11 games that he's played. That's 11.1% below their expected field goal percentage. And now, in my mind, I just want to take you back, Amina, to that game against Denver, where he had to defend Nikola Jokic. Maybe you know him, the reigning MVP in the league. And I'm just going to sit here and watch these highlights for a minute.
This is exactly what Forsberg wanted to do. He's like, just bring up the highlights. I just want to see them over and over again.
This is actually just what runs in my basement over and over again as I'm doing it when I'm not on TV. He's defending right now. The other thing that's crazy is Rob is defending 14.6 shots per game in this span. He's actually 4th highest number in the NBA in that span. They're throwing so much at Rob and putting a lot on his plate, and he is responding by being great. He needs to be healthy because they sure needed him against the Pistons when the Pistons were grabbing all those rebounds. But that being said, Rob has been phenomenal in this stretch, and I think his defensive activity has really been a key for this defensive overall.
Now, Rob has been great, but I hear you got some OGs on this list as well.
OGs is where it's at. So 83.6 is the number, and that is Boston's defensive rating when Marcus Smart and Al Horford, the OGs, are sharing the floor. In fact, that's the best two-man defensive rating for any two-man lineup over 100 minutes. Even better, they're a plus 36.6 in net rating. And it's just, if you had to say, when you watch them out there, the Celtics are just a different defensive team with those guys out there. You're looking at Al, he's spry, he's not looking like a 34, 35-year-old man. He's running around, making blocks, getting rebounds, doing his thing, and there's Marcus just jumping all over the floor. And it's clear they bring a different energy, a different sort of savvy when they're out there. And I just thought it was really interesting. You think, like, best two-man lineup, right? Like, Jayson Tatum's definitely going to be in there, right?
Yeah.
No, it's the OGs holding it down.
It's the OGs. Well, Al Horford might be in his 30s, but those knees, they look like he's in his 20s, okay, when he's out there on the court. All right, last but not least, what do you have coming up?
Make sure those knees are okay for the playoffs. Otherwise, all right, plus 28.9 is my final number. And I know I just said Jayson Tatum should have been in that main line, you know, that best two-man lineup, but he's been the best overall player in this stretch, and it's not something that has changed much over the course of the season. The Celtics have an offensive rating of 122.1 when he's on the court over those last 13 games. And remember, he's played, I think, like 437 minutes. He's only been off the floor for about 117. And here's the thing, the offensive rating drops to 99.2 when he goes to the bench, like a 24-point dip in how good the offense is per 100 possessions. Tatum, I know he hasn't shot the ball great, but he's been assisting the ball. He has had his moments where he's gone big, like that 50-pointer against Washington. And I just feel like he's so vital to everything this team does, and they need great Jayson Tatum moving forward.
And Jayson Tatum has some fancy passes as of late. Not going to last, some behind-the-back work and everything. That's what I like to see from Jayson Tatum. Just what I like to see.